CBC Cape Breton is reporting that the CBRM is hiring a port consultant before putting its undeveloped greenfield site on the market. The municipality wants expert advice on what the Sydney Harbour property is worth and how to attract potential developers, particularly companies involved in Nova Scotia's proposed offshore wind industry. For more than a decade, Sydney Harbour Investment Partners had an exclusive agreement to pursue a container terminal and later offshore wind opportunities, but neither project materialized. Council ended talks with SHIP in January. Per the CBC article, SHIP says they still have an agreement and are working through a dispute resolution clause, but CBRM says neither party has initiated one. Municipal staff are expected to provide an update on the consultant search at the July 30th council meeting.
Okay, buckle up. Let's dig into this report and highlight a few things that shouldn't be overlooked. Don't you just love juxtaposition? Let's start with that. CBC's Tom Ayres quotes Councillor Stephen McNeil as stating, "Council's job is to make sure the opportunity is matched by a fair and transparent process." I agree. The best way to overcome the inevitability of human nature, especially amongst political or government folks, is transparency. Let's see the next quote from Ayres for our little slice of juxtaposition. Neither municipal staff nor Mayor Cecil Clark would provide an interview. They don't want to talk to the media about it. Maybe they are working on figuring out what the angle is on a dispute resolution clause. We can let the lawyers weigh in, but my layman take is the following. If an agreement reaches its expiration, not a cancellation, not renewing the agreement is up to the CBRM. It would have to have terms that would compel them to renew, and if it does not, then there really is no disputing the agreement, simply completing its active term. If the CBRM violated some provision of the agreement prior to its expiry, any dispute resolution should have already been initiated. However, as Tom Ayres reports, unnamed CBRM councillors and the spokesperson for the CBRM say, neither party has initiated dispute resolution in accordance with the dispute resolution clause under the previous agreement. So, that's that. Or is it? Ayres says, even though the municipality formally ended talks with SHIP, several CBRM councillors and officials met with company representatives earlier this month. At least some councillors seem to have been in the loop on that one. As we saw, they were all shocked to find out the Sydport land had been sold, and took the mayor and the CAO to task on that one. Maybe only Donald Rumsfeld, former U.S. Secretary of Defense, could really help us understand the flow of information in the CBRM. See if you can wrap your mind around this little tangle. Reports that say that something hasn't happened are always interesting to me. As we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know we don't know. Overall, I think the open market might be the best place for the greenfield sands. After all, the CBRM is not great at lowering taxes, but they sure are great at collecting them. And what we need is a commercial tax source. If we give any individual entity exclusivity, they lock things up until a deal comes around that meets their terms and their best interests, not always equivalent to our own. If a major company in the wind energy sector comes along and wants to buy it for a price consistent with its value to them, we could sell it and start collecting taxes. What we don't want to do is sell it for a song and let someone hang on to it indefinitely without development proceeding. For those who think the CBRM really should be dabbling in economic development, I urge you to pause and consider the following. If we can't run garbage collection service, what makes any of us think we have the ability to navigate the corporate world? Much of our key responsibility in economic development is making sure we get the heck out of the way. It was too difficult to figure out how to keep people from doing burnouts on George Street for hot August nights. Do we really believe Mayor Clark and the CBRM is ready to swim with the sharks of the highest tiers of the energy sector and survive? We could get Tom Ayres to ask him what he thinks about that, but he wasn't available for an interview. Pay attention on July 30th. That is also when the CAO is supposed to come back to council to explain their plan for fixing garbage collection service. That will dominate the media focus and community discussion. Make sure you pay attention to what they do on this greenfield sands file during that meeting too. Don't let it fly under your radar.